What's poppin' gamers, it is me, Leon, with a brand new 7 quick tips video. Today we're going to be talking about spaceships and by extension, outer space builds. About 2 weeks ago I put up a YouTube poll asking you guys what you'd like to see me talk about in the next 7 quick tips video, and by a slim majority, spaceships and outer space builds won. From now on, I'm going to be choosing my 7 quick tips topics by these YouTube polls, so if you want to see me cover anything in particular, keep an eye out for those. Anyways, let's cut the chit chat and get right into 7 quick tips for building spaceships and outer space builds in Minecraft. 1. Pick a sci-fi aesthetic to define your style. Sci-fi is a massive genre, and there are countless different kinds of spaceships that have been created over the decades. But more often than not, you can categorize spaceships, and sci-fi aesthetics in general, into one of 2 genres, hard sci-fi and soft sci-fi. Now, I don't think these are the official terms, but hear me out. Hard sci-fi is when the designers place more of an emphasis on grittiness, realism, and making things look tough. So imagine the spaceships from Alien, the UNSC from Halo, the Star Wars original trilogy, or District 9, something along those lines. If you haven't seen those, then do some googling and you'll quickly see what I mean. These spaceships are dirty, gray, and dare I say, realistic. On the other hand, you have soft sci-fi. This is the complete opposite. Ships are clean, sleek, smooth, and look more like luxury sports cars than freighters. Think about, for example, the Enterprise from Star Trek, ships from the Star Wars prequels, Oblivion, or many other pieces of media that I can't think of right away, but there are certainly many of them out there. If you get too far into gritty, hard sci-fi, you're gonna end up with something that looks more steampunky, and well, I have another video on that. On the other hand, if you make everything too sleek and clean, you lose all sense of practicality and just end up with like a white blob. So pick the style you like more or find a blend of the two. But whatever you do, it's important to establish this frame of reference for when you start thinking of designs and finding reference media to be inspired by. 2. Build in the end, if you're brave enough for it. The end has big outer space vibes. You've got this dope dark skybox, everything's all eerie and bleak, and most importantly you have these huge empty areas where you're just enveloped by nothingness. But if you're building in survival, then you're making a big risk. We all know what happens when you let go of the crouch button. So if you've got the guts for it, then I definitely recommend making a spaceship or a space station in the end, and if you're in creative mode, then there's really no reason not to. You could use one of the floating end islands as an asteroid and build a research or industrial mining station, or even make the asteroid part of your ship itself. But if you're in survival and you'd rather play it safe, then yeah, maybe don't take the risk. Building somewhere else isn't quite as cool as in the end, but of course if you die, you won't necessarily lose all your items. 3. Develop your sci-fi block palette. Hard and soft sci-fi each have their own unique colors, textures, and shapes, which in this game translates to unique block palettes. Here's a collection of blocks that I think fit very well in hard sci-fi. And here's some that would be great for soft sci-fi. I'm sure there are other block combinations and decor items out there that I haven't shown you here, but I think this is a pretty good starting point. 4. Say goodbye to gravity. One of the coolest things about doing a space build is that you don't need to think about gravity. Normally when you're building on the ground, especially if you're doing some sort of organic build, thinking about how gravity and weight affects the different parts of your structure is very important. But up in outer space, none of that matters. So you can go really wild with all sorts of wacky shapes that wouldn't make any sense on Earth. Try making a floating space base, a spaceship with tons of long, weird protruding sections, or something else entirely. The floor is yours. 5. Take advantage of the Nether's cool fog and particle effects. Let's say you don't want to build in the end. That is valid. If you still want those dark, empty void vibes but don't want to risk losing all your items from one wrong move, then try building on the roof of the Nether instead. There are many tutorials on YouTube that show you how to break the bedrock on the roof of the Nether via a cool glitch, and then from there you can access the empty space on top. Each of the Nether biomes has a unique fog color, and the basalt deltas even have these really atmospheric particle effects. You could use this fog or the fog of the other Nether biomes to look like you're flying through some sort of space nebula. Soul Sand Valleys have a really cool bright blue fog, and the Nether Wastes have a deep red. For maximum atmosphere, turn down your render distance and drink a potion of night vision to really bring out the color. 6. Banners. One of the most iconic things to me about the classic starships from Star Wars is the iconic colors, shapes, and symbols that every ship had. You had your X-Wings, Y-Wings, A-Wings, TIE Fighters, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on. With banners, you can make some really cool insignias and decals for your spaceship. As long as the background of the banner matches the color of the hull of your ship, you can get really wacky and even incorporate multiple banners at once. If you're designing a whole fleet of fighter ships or making some sort of big spaceship hangar, then this can be a fantastic way to designate which factions the different ships belong to. I know looms can be pretty confusing to work with, but really, you just need a bunch of different dies and a blank banner, and the options are all already there for you. Just don't be afraid to waste a few banners in the process and you'll come up with some really dope patterns. 7. Slow falling and levitation make for some cool outer space effects. Now, this is mostly going to apply to my creative mode homies. Assuming you're not using cheats in survival, then the only way to get slow falling is via a potion effect, and making said potion is going to require you to get phantom membrane, which as you probably know is very annoying to collect. Levitation is even harder. The only way to levitate in legit survival is to get hit by a shulker bullet. But assuming you have access to these effects, then they're really fun to goof around with. You can make yourself, a friend, or an animal fall very slow to the ground, or just start levitating. Cause why not? I gotta shout out one of my favorite Minecraft content creators, Zedaph, right here. In particular, these 2 episodes of Hermitcraft Season 7 show off a bunch of really funny mechanics, including slow falling. Seriously, this guy is so funny, please do check him out. Alrighty fellas, I hope this video was helpful and fun and cool and rad and epic for all you gamers out there. Thank you for watching till the end, I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed, please like the video and consider subscribing so I get that sweet YouTube clout. And till next time, have a wonderful day my dudes, and check back next week for more 7 quick tips. Peace.